the Full Court Press with Eric Franson and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Rose, ends up, yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Welcome back to the Full Court Press, hour number 2. Jason Walker, Ajay Salvesen. We'll go with the. I'll actually say your name correctly this time.
Because you have guests. You don't want.
That's true.
It's Sanjay Alverton. Hi, everybody. It's Sanjay Alverton. There, I just did it for you. Hey, did you say how do you dive feet first? Was that you? This text from 0366?
Yeah, I said dive feet first.
You did?
Yeah, I said that. They're making fun of me. I've already been made fun of for some
and
of
then
the
it gets
phrases I
after
use.
me. Ajay, I have not missed your ignorance or your smart aleck attitude.
Oh.
There's no ignorance. It's purely honesty. Don't you want honesty on this?
I mean, you did
show?
once say that raisins weren't dried out grapes.
Okay, in India we do it differently. I'm just saying.
Okay. Anyway, we do have a guest on, Roman Ruiz, former Utah State decathlete, and it's also kind of an inspirational story as well. Welcome him on to the show. I was kind of between writing for the Utah Statesman and working here. Back in 2020, Roman, it was cardiac arrest, I believe.
Yes, cardiac arrest.
I guess just kind of walk me through the technical terms, because obviously, cardiac arrest during training, and then a long road to recovery. Just kind of walk through that little process there. Kind of explain it.
Yeah, so I had cardiac arrest. I was doing voluntary workout at Utah State on the track, and I was extremely lucky that one guy, I was doing a voluntary workout on a Saturday as spring break. So I was extremely lucky that one guy decided to walk around the track the same while I was there. So I had cardiac arrest, and I was out laying on the track for 35 minutes, and he was just walking and continued walking. He thought I was just resting, saw me. Once he got to me, realized something was wrong because I was face down, and he started CPR, and it was just, it's kind of crazy. He started CPR, called the ambulance, and it took a while. I was out for 35 minutes, and it's just very wild to think about it for myself, because my brain injury makes it so I'm hard at remembering. Like, I'd have very difficult recall. So thinking of these things, like how everything happened in my life, and it's kind of crazy to think about, and it's just a miracle that I'm alive and I'm walking and doing with the team. But so I was just working out, and I was doing part of my warm up. Had cardiac arrest, was out for 35 minutes, and then I was life flighted to, I think, the Ogden. Yeah, I was life flighted to the Ogden Hospital, and then I was in the hospital there for 2 months, I'm pretty sure. And then after that, I was back home, and I find myself extremely lucky to have amazing parents that have done everything that they can. But
So I guess I imagine you talk about, obviously, with a brain injury, you probably don't remember a whole lot about that day.
Yeah.
I guess, is there a first memory you have? I guess a span, like you remember this is the last thing I remember versus this is the next thing.
No, not. I don't feel like there's anything. I feel like there's nothing that I remember exactly, but it's nice. Going through my Google Photos, because I was very into taking pictures and documenting, so that's one nice thing that I have to recall memories and bring back the memories for me. Yeah.
Reading up on your recovery, it sounds like you went through the lowest of lows, and there
Yeah.
wasn't a lot of highs during that recovery. Can you talk about what the recovery was like for you personally?
Yeah.
What the therapy was like? How many days you were going? What you were going through? What you
Yeah.
can remember?
I know, like, I don't know. I know it was, like, if I can think back, like, I know I was going to lots of therapies, multiple times a day, and, just, it's interesting, like, all the therapies I was doing, like, it's crazy to think, like, how they were helping, because I don't know where I'd be without them, and, it's just crazy, like, because it's a lot of hard work. Because definitely, like, the hard work is how I'm doing as well as I'm doing right now. Like, if it wasn't for having that hard work attitude that I have, then I have no idea where I'd be. But
Is that something that kind of carries over? Obviously, being an athlete,
yeah,
that hard work that's been part of your whole life. So you basically transition that into obviously your recovery. Seems like fairly seamless for you.
yeah, yeah. It's just, it was just really nice. Like, I think as a freshman, I was already in like multiple record boards for track, like the decathlon is 10 events. So like I was on, I was on like the decathlon record board and heptathlon, pole vault, hurdles, I think. But it's kind of crazy.
So what got you into running? Like, the only reason I'll ever run is if I have something in my hand or if something's chasing me. That is the only reason I'll ever run. Otherwise, it is walking at all times and all paces. But what got you into running? How did it all start?
I'd say it was probably from my dad. Like, 'cause my dad, he was in high school. He was really into running and just, passed it down to his children.
Really?
So yeah, it's like me, my older brother, he also runs, and yeah, he ran for University of Nebraska and BYU. So.
Can you tell us about some of your great achievements in running and in track and field, some of your ones that you're most proud of?
Yeah, I'd say one thing that it brought back to memory from just being here and with my coach is I remember it was indoor, so it was part of the heptathlon, and you do the 1,000, and I was running the 1,000, and at the end I had an extremely big kick, and I ended up winning the 1,000,
Wow.
which was interesting because I didn't know what to expect, but I don't know.
Can you tell us about the steps that you took for recovery? Like, what steps and milestones that you were trying to get through as you're getting to the point where you are now? Obviously,
Yeah.
starting with cardiac arrest and then coming to that. What were those steps that you were taking?
I don't know. It's difficult question, definitely, because just to think back to where it was is crazy. Like, how far I have come is amazing. Like, I had to relearn how to walk, and I had to relearn how to talk, and talking, like, those are all very big steps. Like, it's just interesting. Yeah.
So that just happened to you just relearn how to walk, and then relearn how to run,
Yep.
relearn how to talk. Just
Yeah.
I guess but 4 years down the line, you've gone really far, from those early moments.
Yeah, I would assume so.
What are your goals now?
My goal, I'd say it'd be to go back to college, and I think I want to be I can't think of what the doctor is called, but it's whatever the type of doctor that I first saw when I had my brain
On
injury.
your brain? Okay.
So I just want to be able to help people that have been where I was.
Yeah.
And I want to tell them, like, you can do this. Like, it's all mental.
Have you been invited to go out and do speeches, like, I mean, that kind of a story I think people need to hear. Like, and I mean, the incredible and the positivity you come out with it. Like, not once have you complained about your situation, which is amazing. Because I would have been, first thing I would have done on here is I would have complained, but you haven't done that. What has it taken to be this positive about your whole entire experience, therapy, and more?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say it's definitely difficult. Like, it's easy to complain because, like, for me, like, I don't know, like, my memory, I feel like that is the biggest difficulty that I have now. So, like, when I'm asked different questions about specific things in the past, like, I'm not exactly sure, but I can just assume that I've watched, like, there's a video called Roman, A Year of Miracles on YouTube, and it shows my first year's progress. So I can watch that and I can see, like, wow, I can't believe that's where I was, and like, I don't know, it's just crazy.
So you've had a chance to interact with other people. Obviously, you've interacted with doctors who've helped you. Have you had a chance to meet other people who've gone through similar experiences as you and kind of helping each other out? Has that happened at all? Like,
I guess, yeah. Like, there's a girl from back home. She has a brain injury and is recovering. I don't remember exactly, like, how things are or were for her, but yeah, I don't know. It's nice. So
I was just curious. Obviously, a lot of times you end up banding together with other people who obviously have these same experiences, and I know it's been really helpful for some people in a bunch of different situations, obviously.
Yeah, it's nice.
I want to ask you this, and I hope it's okay to ask you this, but it seems like your biggest motivation, inspiration, and positivity comes from your mom and dad.
Yeah.
One's filming right now. Your dad got you into track, obviously, in running. What is their support in all of this meant? Because I felt like when we were talking about your parents before earlier in this conversation, you kind of got emotional.
Yeah.
But what has mom and dad meant for you in the last 4 years?
I don't know. It's just like, it's crazy to think, like, how much they've done for how much work and, like, they put into, and I don't know. I feel like their life has changed in so many different ways, and I don't know, like, it's not, like, doesn't come to mind, like, that it has, like, been said to me, but I assume that it has, because what I've gone through, and I don't know, I'm just extremely grateful for my parents, and they're, yeah, I don't know, yeah, they're really, really good, nice.
I guess, how much does that motivate you to, you want to give back? So you talked about wanting to go into the medical field to help people who've gone through your own experience. Like, how much does, the people around you motivate you to, do what they've done for you, you can maybe do for other people as well?
Yeah, I don't know. It's nice. Like, the main reason is, like, I feel like, there's been so much good that I've come, like, that I've gotten out of the doctors, so much good information and so much, like, help, like, given, and, like, if I can be one of those people that is helping others, and that'd be, I'd see that as, something very cool.
Again, we're talking to Roman Ruiz, former Utah State decathlete, and obviously a survivor of a cardiac arrest, and obviously a very inspirational story. You've come back here to Logan. I was told you're competing in the USU Speed and Power event, I think is what it was called.
Yeah, that sounds correct. Speed and Power Invitational.
Some of that I was looking at earlier today, and I didn't write it down. So obviously an event that you're going to be competing. Just tell us a little bit about that. Getting back into athletics, obviously.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like, it's nice to be a part of the team, and it's I find it, like, kind of crazy that, like, the different workouts, because I've been practicing with the team this weekend. It's interesting, like, my therapies back home, like, I feel like I work very hard, but the different like, workouts that they have here, it's like, has made me realize, like, wow, like, I must have been, like, up there as an athlete, like, because the different workouts that they do here, it's crazy and it's inspirational. Like, yeah.
So,
I don't know.
So what are you going to be doing in the upcoming event? Is it just running or?
Yeah, so I'm going to be throwing shot put, and I'm going to be running the 4x4.
Oh,
Huh.
that's incredible.
That's pretty good.
I love YouTube. I like to go down the rabbit hole of YouTube and find all these weird, just unnecessary videos. But you have a YouTube channel. I want to hear about this YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I want to hear about the video, the progress video, and all that.
Yeah, so it's not my channel, but it's a friend from back home.
Okay.
My brother's wife's, so it's my sister-in-law's aunt, I think, and they made the video. It's called Roman, A Year of Miracles, and it's on YouTube, and that is a video that I watch fairly often because just to remind me, like, wow, that is where I was, and it's crazy to think, like, it's crazy just to think or to think about what I've gone through.
So you guys talk about, a year of miracles, obviously that first year on the road to recovery.
Yeah.
What do you feel like are the biggest miracles that you saw in your life, in that first year?
I'd say it was just like getting back to like running and like, I don't know, as you guys can see, like I'm fairly capable of being by myself and holding myself, and I feel like physically, like the most like physical aspects is like where I've come the farthest, but like
Can you talk to us about mental health for a student athlete, for athletes in general? I just talked to Anna Weaver about a week ago, one of the great runners in Utah State Athletics.
Oh, yeah.
Going to be participated on Team USA, then had a hip injury, broken hip in 3 different places and had to recover. Not as dramatic as yours by any means of the stretch.
Yeah.
But when you hear about mental health for student athletes and for athletes, what comes to your mind about some of the challenges and what your message is to all them?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say the mental health is something it's not very big. Like, you can't really understand like how bad like your life can suck because of different injuries or different things. It's, I don't know, so mental health, like, it's nice. Like, it's the student athlete is. It's a student, then athlete, not athlete student. It's student athlete, and so being a part of a university, and I feel like making that your number one priority for if someone's an athlete is, I feel like that's extremely important. But yeah.
All right, we're very thankful for Roman to come on. Roman Ruiz, former Utah State athlete, obviously going to be competing in the USU Speed and Power. I'm going to go with that. We're going to call it that, and if I'm wrong, somebody can correct me. But thank you so much for coming on to our radio show. And I'm going to have to go check out that video because obviously I want to learn a lot more. I know, and those of you listening, feel free to go. It was Roman, A Year of Miracles.
Yeah.
Should be able to find that on YouTube and learn more about, obviously, your incredible story. So, again, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, of course.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take another break. And on the other side, we'll return. We'll have more here on the Full Court Press.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. My brother Travis and I opened our first store here in Logan in 2010 by Big 5 Sports. Recently, we opened our second location by Red Balloon Toys. We carry the world's best beds, IntelliBed Purple, Tempur-Pedic, and Sealy Posturepedic. And yes, we are the ones that tease Lewiston once in a while. We're 6th-generation Cache Valley family, and chances are that you or your neighbor have bought a bed from us, and we value that more than anything. Come into the North or South My Mattress today and sleep better tonight. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally?
Do you have a fireplace or stove that isn't working right? Don't wait until winter to get it fixed. Get ahead of the game and get your fireplace or stove serviced now by the best of Northern Utah winter, Advanced Fireplace and Stove. They service everything from Quadra-Fire pellet stoves to heat and glow fireplaces. Get a 20% discount on your next service and labor when you mention this ad. Call 752-7272 or go to advancedfireplaceandstove.com. Advanced Fireplace and Stove, where comfort is their business.
Since 1896, couples throughout Utah have shopped S.E. Needham Jewelers for their diamond engagement ring. We offer our integrity price guarantee on a beautiful selection of unique, high-quality diamond engagement rings. Gals, you'll love our rings, and guys, you'll love our prices. We price our diamonds at internet pricing. Review the web and come see, hands-on, our beautiful selection. Shop and compare. Get S.E. Needham quality at internet pricing, where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Imagine driving home, a peaceful evening shattered by a chunk of ice that falls off from another vehicle, leaving your windshield shattered and your arm broken. That's what happened to my neighbor Jim. Insurance and the other driver were no support. It's a tough situation, but I told him to reach out to the advocates. They've got your back. No upfront costs to find out if you have a case. If you've been hurt in an accident that's not your fault, don't hesitate. Chat with the advocates at utahadvocates.com or call 801-355-5550. Now with offices in Logan.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
Yeah!
You shouldn't have a college score in the NFL.
Listen, when you just scored 0, I ain't gonna stop them boys from scoring. I'm not gonna stop them. You know, we was on the other side of it last week, and it felt a certain way, and hey, no apologies here.
Okay, and no need to apologize. You're professionals. Score.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Get on board. The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. Reel in our first catch and feel the sun at our backs. It's get out on the water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly. Get on board. Get on board.
It's the Full Court Press with Eric Franson and Jason Walker.
Again, another thank you to Roman Ruiz and obviously his parents as well for coming in and doing an interview with us here on the Full Court Press. If you missed it, we'll have it published on our Full Court Press podcast feed. I'll isolate it and publish it as its own episode. Obviously, it'll be part of the full second hour podcast episode that we publish as well. So, fantastic story. Just, obviously a guy going from being a top-tier athlete, a decathlete. Like, those are the most athletic people on the planet.
Yeah.
And obviously, cardiac arrest, brain injury, but he's obviously come so far.
Well, and it's just, look, to be a runner, you have to have a lot of mental toughness, right? You have to have a lot of mental toughness. And to go through what he did and to have the training and therapy to get yourself back to where you can be competitive in track and in racing and running, like, it just, what a story. And what a true, incredibly great example of perseverance, of persisting that I am going to get back on my feet. I am going to get back to doing what I love to do. That's so cool. I love it, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye on, see how he does in the future. I know he'll continue to be an inspiration for a lot of people. Want to get back to, we spent a lot of time talking about Utah State, men's basketball. We didn't really get a chance to talk a ton about the other Mountain West games that are happening this weekend. There's actually a game today in Mountain West play. And I remember it was like Nevada and I think San Jose State. Yeah, San Jose State at Nevada. I don't know. I feel like when I look at the rest of these games, Ajay, I see San Jose State at Nevada.
Yes.
And then you see on Saturday, Air Force at Boise State, 2 p.m., Wyoming at UNLV at 6 p.m., and then Colorado State at Fresno State at 8 p.m. That just feels like a lot of games that feel like they're going to have a pretty predictable result. I mean, maybe Wyoming, UNLV is a little interesting. They're teams that are somewhat similar in their spot in the Mountain West standings. But yeah, it just feels like there's one really good game in Mountain West play. It's Utah State, San Diego State.
Great. So then all eyes are on San Diego State and Utah State. I love it.
Is that good or bad?
It's great. I love it. Like there's one game everybody needs to care about, and it's this game because this game has implications on standings, on seeding in the Mountain West tournament. It's a big game that needs to be treated as such, and it will get its due tomorrow.
So, how important is it trying to get that one seed? Aside from obviously the, desire to get the Mountain West title, but I know last year and a couple of times we talked about, in the Mountain West tournament, if that 2 seed makes it to the title game, or someone from the opposite side of the one seed bracket, you're playing like the late
9
nightcap
o'clock game,
and then you're playing the 1 o'clock 2 or I forget what time it starts.
It's at 2 o'clock Mountain. No, it's actually 3 o'clock Mountain, 2 o'clock Pacific.
Yeah, it's like early afternoon.
It is, yeah.
I feel like that's almost as important as winning the Mountain West title.
Well, and I know they've had conversations with Gloria Navarez. Coaches have. I can assure you of this. The athletic directors have had a conversation with Gloria Navarez about trying to make a change for that time of the game because if it's a quarterfinal game, it happens, whatever. But it's a semifinal game to get to the conference championship, and there is a very huge disadvantage of not being able to. Of having to wake up early, go through a walkthrough, get some film in, stretch, get taped, get to the arena, go through a shoot. There's so much going on. I remember the story. In Sam Merrill's senior year, the year they won it, right? It was Sam Merrill's winning shot. The night before, they played Wyoming in a grueling game, a game that was a lot closer than it needed to be. Sam Merrill, they had messed up the dinners for Sam Merrill because he had not ordered from this restaurant yet. He had to walk across the street with Nate Jarvis, the equipment manager, and go grab McDonald's at 1 o'clock in the morning. But you can't walk through the drive-thru, so they had to give money to an individual, and that individual had to go get their meal and then give it back to Sam. Sam had to walk back across the street, back to South Point Hotel, up to his elevator to eat. That was at 1 a.m. in the morning, Jason. And then he went and played a basketball game against San Diego State.
Like 12, 13 hours later, he's playing a basketball game.
And so they need to fix the time. I understand TV's the king of the world, right? I understand that. I get it. They have to fix the time. They have to fix it. I don't know, one way or another. Because that first semifinal game's like at what, 5? Isn't it it's an early game?
Yeah, it's like late afternoon, early evening, basically. Which is, a reasonable time, even if you're playing an early afternoon game the next day. It's still essentially 20 hours versus some guys who are getting 11.
Yeah.
So that's like not only being first place do you get the Mountain West title, which is obviously the biggest key. It's a ring, it's a trophy, all that, but you also have a chance of getting your best potential seed in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Because you want to win the conference tournament, because otherwise you end up dropping a seed or two.
And I think out of the 18, 19, 20, 21 we didn't make it, 22 we did, 23 we did. So what? Out of only one of those years have we had the early semifinal game. Every other one of them have been the late semifinal game.
Did they ever actually have it?
Yeah, Ryan Odom's first year we played Colorado State and we lost.
Oh, so that they would have been in the early.
Yeah, well, no.
Had they gone all the way,
sorry. If they would have beat Colorado State, it would have been in the early semifinal. Because every other time
they were the second seed in 18-19.
Yeah, sorry, early semifinal game.
And then they're either a 2 or 3 seed in. I think because they were a 2 seed last year.
Yeah.
And I think they were a 2 or 3 seed. Craig Smith's second year.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, and did they have the early semifinal of that? No. No,
I don't think they've ever had anytime they've been in the championship game, I'm pretty sure they played in the late semifinal every time.
Yeah.
Because they've never been the 1 seed in the last 5 years. Well, they've never been the 1 seed in the Mountain West, period. The 1 year they were tied for the regular season tournament, but Nevada got the tiebreaker to be the 1 seed. So they were co-regular season champions, but Nevada got the got the 1 seed. Utah State ends up playing San Diego State in that title game because San Diego State was kind of an upstart team. At least that year, because it was Nevada and Utah State that year. But then San Diego State surprised Nevada in the semifinal.
Okay.
Is it semifinal or quarterfinal? I can't remember which one.
I think I'm in the quarterfinal.
It was a year. It was a year where the Martin twins just suddenly decided they forgot how to play basketball.
Dude, that team should have been a Sweet 16. Were they a Sweet 16 team?
I think like the year before they were.
The year before.
Like there was a ton of hype around the team because they'd gone on an NCAA tournament run, returned most everybody.
And they got flattened by, was it Florida? I think in that first round. They got demolished in that first round. That was so embarrassing.
I think they were still a decently high seed.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 5-12 matchup. Yeah. Pretty insane. But yeah, for the Mountain West, so as far as standings, there's a lot of teams that are going to be expected to win. And so for Utah State, the big standing implication is like they're not going to drop below first place if they lose this weekend.
Yeah.
They will, at worst be technically tied, although also technically still in first because they'd be tied with Boise State.
Do you think their net or KenPom will be damaged in any sort of... I'm kind of worried about that because that thing is so weird at times.
I mean, it would drop. And it's especially if you lose bad, it'll drop. But it's not dropping more than 2 or 3 spots.
Okay.
Like, you're talking about a San Diego State team who's 25th in the net, I believe. I was looking earlier today. It's like 25th, and Utah State's 20th. At worst, maybe they swap places. Even then, I wouldn't expect Utah State to fall further than like 24th, and San Diego State would bump up to like 22nd.
Okay.
Like, when you lose to really good teams, net and KenPom doesn't really punish you that bad. Although when you're up higher, the chances of dropping are a little more. Because, again, there's so many good teams up there. Everyone's winning. That's why it's so hard to move up in the net.
But here's the thing. You have 6 ranked versus ranked games tomorrow. 6, right? Duke, NC, I think Iowa State, Houston's one of them. Like, you have some great games on tomorrow that could affect the net ranking, KenPom ranking in incredible fashion.
And see, this is where, if Utah State wins, they have a chance to maybe jump up in the top 25. I don't know how some of these other teams have done as far as winning or losing the teams near them, like, Iowa State. I'm trying to see, Utah State's 17th. I'm trying to think if any team's ahead of them, because that's interesting thing, because if you beat a good San Diego State team who's like right on the edge of being ranked themselves, you have a chance of moving on a little higher, like 15th, 14th. Mm-hmm. But again, when moving up in the top 25 is just as much about teams in front of you losing as it is you yourself winning.
Yeah, I would agree.
It'll be a bit of a challenge. I want to take another quick break here on the other side. I want to shift focus to the NBA. Mm-hmm. Kind of an interesting topic of conversation. It's one that we've talked about on the show before. I don't know if, Ajay, you've had a chance to give your thoughts on this topic. The 65-game kind of floor, or like minimum, I don't know what exactly to refer it as, but that floor that players have to reach if they want to be eligible for All-NBA and just any end-of-season award. There's some players who are starting to hate on it because, well, predictably, those are the players that are potentially going to be affected by it. But we'll talk about that coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
It's never too late or too cold to get rid of that old vehicle. Now is the time to earn extra cash by calling DD Auto and Salvage. Let them pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204 today.
See store for details.
No matter how cold it is outside, you can count on a quality-built, super-efficient York furnace to keep you warm inside. York furnaces provide consistent comfort throughout your home. York furnaces are protected by the strongest warranties available. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York dealer, at 752-7272 to schedule a free evaluation of your system. Advanced Heating will help you save up to 50% in energy costs this season. Online at advancedheating-ac.com.
Want to set yourself apart from the competition? The Leadership MBA at Utah State University will help you lead companies and drive change in your organization. You can attend in person in Logan on Thursday evenings or take an interactive online class. Complete your MBA in as little as a year. Apply before March 1st to be considered for summer semester. Contact the MBA office for a waiver of the $55 application fee. Learn more at utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Are you looking for a new adventure? Maybe you're hoping to find the next piece of your map to success. Here at Bank of Utah, we have just the thing for you. Our certificate of deposit is sure to help you kickstart your next adventure. The best part? Your money does the work for you. Stop by our Logan, Providence, or Tremonton branches today and chat with our savings experts, or visit bankofutah.com to apply online. Adventure is out there. Start saving now with a CD. My Utah, my bank. Bank of Utah. Member FDIC.
The Aggies, Jazz, high schools, even the Pee Wees T-ball team. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. Jason Walker and Egbert Sanderson.
Egbert Sanderson. Sanderson.
Somebody might call him Egbert the Ignorant.
I swear.
Okay.
I swear.
I believe.
If I go to the Spectrum tomorrow, calling the women's game, and someone yells out Egbert, so help me, Jason.
Somebody please
because
do that.
someone at a restaurant already called me Sanjay.
Really?
Yes. What do you mean, really? I was walking in. I was minding my own business, having my delicious, cheeseburger. I'm walking out, and all of a sudden, someone's like, "Sanjay, love you on the show," and I was like, "Okay," and you're fired. You're fired.
So does it bother you when I call you, or would you prefer me to call you Ajay?
No, it doesn't bother me.
Okay. I mean, you're saying somebody calls you that in public.
It keeps me noticed in the world.
Keeps you on your toes.
Keeps me on my toes. Hey, you know what else is keeping me on my toes is this, it's keeping a lot of people, players, fans especially now, it's a 65-game rule. This has been interesting, Jason.
Yeah, I felt like there was a lot of positive feedback, because fans, there were some that obviously were a little worried, and there were also talks about, what if this had been retroactively applied, would it, there are other players who would have maybe not been eligible for all NBA, because, you have to play in 65 games, and I believe there's even, minutes, there's a smaller rule where if you don't play 20 minutes, it doesn't that game might not count.
Yeah.
So they're trying to avoid people cheesing the system by because you see that we've seen that in some cases where players have an incentive to play X amount of games, and they check in they start a game or check into a game, commit a foul, and leave. And so they're trying to avoid that. So the 65-game rule, irking a couple of players now that they actually are facing the consequences of it. I think it was Tyrese Halliburton who was not too happy about it. And, there's talk about, Joel Embiid, who's having a historically fantastic season. But both of these players may end up missing that 65-game mark due to injuries. And, actual injuries. Joel Embiid, dude, landed on his knee. He ain't faking that.
Yeah.
This isn't back spasms.
Yeah.
This is, somebody done landed on my knee, and I cannot play. Do people begin rethinking about this? I'm not. I feel look, if you can't play 65 games, you may have been fantastic. But when I look at players and I see them only play half a season, but maybe they set career highs in points, I discount that season. I say, oh, he only played in 39 games. Exclude that from my analysis of that player, stats-wise. But if you can't play 65 games, you might be putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers, but you got to be able to do it for most of the season for me. Still, I think that's 80% of the season?
80%.
Or right at it, thereabouts. I don't feel like that's a huge ask. For if we're going to give out these, all NBA, that's what you add up for a Hall of Fame resume. if you can't play 80% of the season consistently,
you shouldn't be on any award ballots.
Yeah.
And they need to start making a rule for the All-Star game.
They probably should.
Like, some of these guys who are getting votes is just stupid. Or who were getting votes, I should say.
Yeah, you get players that like haven't played a game the entire season that are like getting votes. Like I think that happened to Ben Simmons, or maybe it wasn't Ben Simmons. No, it happened to Kobe Bryant, I think, where he like hadn't played all year and he was like getting voted as an all-star starter and whatnot.
Well, and Allen Iverson too. Allen Iverson one time he was getting crazy amount of votes.
Yeah,
and he'd only played like barely half the games.
Yeah, it's just I'm not as bothered with All-Star because All-Star is just like it's fans, it's an exhibition. Although it still does have an impact because when we're citing somebody's, potential Hall of Fame resume, they list All-Star appearances. So I don't know. It's the whole All-Star thing and like being snubbed, and people talk about expanding All-Star rosters. I don't know. It's a whole mess. Like I'm kind of against expanding the All-Star rosters because then it starts cheapening what it means to make. Like, look at the Pro Bowl.
Oh, it's a mess.
You get these guys who make like Mac Jones made a Pro Bowl, and what was his name? The quarterback from Utah.
Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, Huntley. He made a Pro Bowl. He played like 7 games. I think he made the Pro Bowl like without or he had like more interceptions than touchdowns.
Yeah,
something like that. Like he's making the Pro Bowl. I think Tyrod Taylor has a Pro Bowl appearance. Maybe I might have to double check that.
That's the problem is that we got to find a way to make a threshold of what exactly you qualify for an All-Star game, especially in basketball. Now I know Larry Markkinen didn't make it, but I don't know who you take off that list. I get it. Steph Curry is under 500 right now and is 12th place in the league. Steph Curry is the only reason why they're actually still existent right now in the Western Conference.
Well, the problem is that if you have any complaints about Steph Curry, or a lot of players, you end up getting legacy All-Star points. Like if you've been to 5 or more or multiple All-Star games, it's it's like voting for Congress. Once you get in, it's hard to get taken out, or at least more than one. Because obviously there's like few one-time All-Stars. Larry Markkinen may end up being like a one-time All-Star. We'll see if he's able to get back up. It'd probably be tied to the Jazz's success if he's able to get back in the All-Star game. But yeah, like once you make it to 5 or 6, you keep making it.
And I was talking to a good friend of mine, Jaden Johnson, and we were having this conversation of, like, because I asked, Marc Gasol retired. He goes, yeah, he had a Hall of Fame career. I'm like, no, he didn't. Marc Gasol internationally did not have a Hall of Fame career. He's like, look at the points he averaged, and look, he won a lot of games. So did Robert Horry. You know what? For that, you know who else won a lot of games? J.R. Smith.
Marc Gasol had a much more bigger impact than J.R. Smith did on his teams, though.
Okay. What about Kyle Korver? Should he be a Hall of Famer?
No, but Marc Gasol had a bigger impact on his teams than Kyle Korver did.
Kyle Korver had a pretty impact. I mean, the guy who is
not as big as Marc Gasol.
Marc Gasol had guys like Mike Conley, Mike Miller.
And that's a fair enough argument, but he was on par with Mike Conley.
You think so?
Yeah.
So should Mike Conley be a Hall of Famer because he had a bigger impact than Marc Gasol on those teams?
Well, those teams didn't win anything, but Marc Gasol ended up being a big contributor on a championship Toronto team. And we can go back and forth in these. I don't know if I'd consider Marc Gasol a Hall of Famer.
The threshold for an All-Star team or for a Hall of Famer is so blurred right now.
Yeah, it's gotten lower. Like everybody thinks that if you're a half decent player, you're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
and I've not given any thought to Marc Gasol. I know that there are a lot of people who will say he is a first ballot Hall of Famer, no question. I don't know if I'd say the same thing, but I've not given it any thought, to be perfectly honest. I just know that Marc Gasol was a really dang good player for a while. And probably underrated just because most of his impact was on defense. But yeah, it's a little weird that we're kind of cheapening a lot of these awards. Again, All-Star and wanting to expand All-Star rosters, that would cheapen it. We're already kind of cheapening the Hall of Fame with who all is getting in and who all people think should get in. A couple of texts coming in on the Full Court Press text line, 435-339-0321. 6860 saying, I don't know why more people are not giving Draymond Green grief. He's the guy that fell on Joel Embiid's knee.
Was it him or was it somebody else?
I didn't actually see the highlight.
I thought Adrian Wojnarowski said it was.
It wouldn't surprise me because Draymond Green does that. Does that accidentally fell on top of you thing all the time?
Kuminga.
Was it Kuminga?
That's what Wojnarowski was saying. Was it Draymond Green?
That or he's covering for Green. I don't know. I haven't.
Well, he just might be covering for Green. So I didn't see it either.
Maybe they both fell on him, but I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen the highlight, but like I said, it wouldn't surprise me. Maybe I should.
Well, 6'8", 6'0" right. Like there has to be some kind of a. I don't know. Draymond Green continues to find himself in hot water and doesn't get punished as much as he should for it.
That is a guy who is. He's gonna get celebrated because he'll probably end up making the Hall of Fame too because he's on the Warriors. Like him and Klay Thompson are gonna owe their Hall of Fame spot to Steph Curry.
I don't know. Draymond had a bigger effect on that team than Klay Thompson did by far.
Yeah.
Draymond Green had a great effect.
I don't think either of them are undeserving of praise by the end of their career.
Draymond Green's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson is not.
It'll be weird to see. Like there'll be a bunch of people praising him. Like looking back, they'll kind of forget all the bad stuff, although there are a lot of people who will hang on to that. Just this guy who's absolutely gone nuts.
Yeah.
Who's a menace to the NBA.
It's incredible.
9-1-5 texting and said, having voting not tied to pay so voter will do correctly. I mean, talking about like how all NBA affects, super max and whatnot. Like these awards mean something because there's the pride of getting in. A lot of people have a lot of pride in these awards. Like Rudy Gobert was obviously, very. Like, he was like crying when he finally made it to the All-Star game. Like it was a huge deal. And All NBA can be similar, but it also means millions of dollars to these guys. And so that's probably a bigger reason why some of these guys are upset about the 65 game limit. It's like if they don't make All NBA 1 year, they're not necessarily upset about that, but it could literally cost them tens of millions of dollars, which is why players are probably going to be whining about this for a while.
Exactly.
But the other part is that something that was pointed out by the NBA vice president saying that, look, that was a collectively bargained thing. Players agreed to it.
Yeah. Well, and look, I get the 65 game thing because for a couple of reasons, it eliminates resting way too much. It forces you to have to play instead of being like, oh, we can get away with this, we can get away with that, we don't have to play for these games. It forces you, Jason. I love this, and I feel bad for Embiid because this probably crushes his MVP opportunity, even though he is very, very, very well deserving of being the MVP. Probably has earned it. It's a bummer, but I like this rule. It makes you accountable.
Yeah, I think if it cuts out a couple of unnecessary rest games, that's the goal. Because you don't want to rush people back from injury, and you don't want to have guys rushing their rehab. But I think it would just be better, you have this minimum so that guys aren't incentivized to rest too much. Like, play the game. You're paid millions of dollars to play this game. Play it. 9-1-5 with a couple more texts. I missed one of them from earlier. Said, I thought Ajay said his relationship with T Swift is so secret that she will deny it if you ask her.
Okay, you know what? You're grounded. You're all grounded.
9-3-5 also saying, why would a media guy vote because they put their names by it? Talking about All NBA. I guess, like, why did the media vote for All NBA, or like why they would be incentivized to vote? Because obviously the media vote for All NBA, and of course they end up having a monetary impact on these guys' career, which is why a lot of these NBA players hate the media vote. Of course, if you hear players' opinions on like who are the best players and the takes that the players have, it really kind of ruins the notion that players know the game the best. Because it's like,
that's the thing.
Like some of them really know the game, but some of them just don't. And that's why, like, that's the problem you have. If the fans vote, they vote like idiots. If the media votes, they have some dumb takes. When the players vote, they vote like idiots. And so that's your problem. 2 out of the 3 classes you would have vote like idiots, and one of them have some complete idiots among them. So, like, you're choosing the best of 3 really bad options. That's the problem.
You know who's really good? I'll be straight. You know who's really good with voting is the Mountain West Conference media. I think they do a great job.
Yeah, but they don't even get a vote for the end of season awards. The coaches do.
Does the media not vote?
No, they vote for preseason, but they don't vote for the end of season awards. That's the coaches.
In women's basketball, it's different, I think.
It's possible, but for football and basketball, the coaches vote on end of season award.
Real? When did that start? Has that always been the case?
It was like 5 or 6 years ago, I think. I may be off on the time, but it's been quite a few years.
I wonder if the radio play-by-play guys get a vote. Because I swear Scott Gerard's done it before.
I'd be surprised. I think they did it after he started.
After he started. Okay.
Because it's not been super long, but it's been like
that makes sense.
Somewhere in the range of 3 to 6 years. I don't know exactly. I think it's been longer than 3 years, but it's been a minute. We do need to take a break. We'll have our final segment here coming up next on the Full Court Press.
Happy winter. This is Mark at the Sportsman on Main Street, where we make winter fun. We are your ski, snowboard, snowshoe, and cross-country ski rental shop. Come in and rent for the day or longer and have a great time outside. We also have great deals on new skis, boots, bindings, underwear, and outerwear, so you are comfortable playing in the snow. See the Sportsman for the best deals, the best service, and most unique products you will find for the outdoors. Only at the Sportsman on Main Street in downtown Logan.
Experience Barrel and Stave on Federal Avenue, where good food, good drinks, and good people meet, using local ingredients to create the most delicious taste possible. Barrel and Stave is a cozy cocktail bar offering a large selection of wines, whiskeys, and cocktails, along with an amazing selection of bar bites and weekly chef specials guaranteed to tantalize your taste buds. With live music every Wednesday night and Thirsty Thursdays that offer $2 off drafts, come and see what you've been missing. Barrel and Stave, Tuesday through Saturday evenings on Federal Avenue.
Beezer Lock and Key specializes in securing your world with their expertise in locks, keys, and hardware. Every aspect of their services is meticulously tailored to ensure your safety. They offer a vast selection of hardware brands and access control options, along with custom master key systems. With Beezer Lock and Key, you have control of your facility's access 24/7. For 28 years, Beezer has provided top-notch security solutions that stand unmatched in the industry. Visit 4th North, 1st West in Logan, or go to beezerlock.com to discover more.
Get your furnace fixed. Call Gary Riggs. Get your furnace fixed. Call Gary Riggs. If you're having heating trouble and you need your furnace fixed, just pick up the phone and call Gary Riggs. 435-512-6633. We'll come to you. Our service fee is low, just $25. We repair all brands and have certified installers. Get your furnace fixed. Call Gary Riggs. Get your furnace fixed. Call Gary Riggs.
The Cache Valley Media Group Home and Garden Show, presented by Anderson Seed and Garden, is March 22nd and 23rd at the Eccles Eye Center. For 25 plus years, thousands of people have enjoyed this fun and helpful home show. Main Street access, great parking, and thousands of visitors make it perfect for your business. Reserve your space today. Google Cache Valley Home and Garden Show for details, or call 752-1390.
That's 752-1390.
They never could play it, but they sure can talk about it. Eric Franson and Jason Walker on the Full Court Press.
Jason Walker and Ajay Salvesen here, final segment of the Full Court Press. I got a couple texts on the Full Court Press text line, 931-5. He was texting in about, maybe why would media want to vote and, have their names attached to it. And one of the reasons to talk about it, because they vote, but then they have to interview the players, so why vote? It's an interesting thing, because their names are probably attached. But I don't think a lot of people really dig deep into who voted for what. People can, but I don't think a lot of people do. So I don't know if the players do. Maybe they do. Some of them sure do. But it's interesting. That's certainly an interesting thought. But I think they do it because there's a prestige of being a voter. 1534 says, along with the All-Star Game and Pro Bowl meaning less to players and fans, it's sad to also see the Olympic basketball team meaning less.
Interesting.
Well, it's like the U.S., they don't send their best players. Even a lot of other teams,
well, they try to send their best players.
The best NBA players are often not participating in the Olympics. Some of them definitely, some of them do, obviously, and in the FIBA, but I think Jokic, Giannis, I don't know if Greece qualified for FIBA, but a lot of the best NBA players skip the Olympics and FIBA and all that. just so they can keep resting.
Yeah, that's been an issue.
Which
but,
I get it.
I mean,
take care of yourself, but you are a supremely well-paid player.
I mean, you don't want to represent your country. That was crazy.
Yeah, it is kind of sad. Want to finish out the show here. High school basketball tonight. I think some exciting games. I believe Logan is at Mountain Crest, I believe. I forgot to look up exactly where all the games was. Green Canyon is at Ridgeline. And so Skyview would be taking on Bear River. So should be three exciting games. Region 11 basketball has been fantastic.
It's been great this year, hasn't it?
It's been back
really
and
fun.
forth, teams beating up on each other. I got to call a triple overtime game between Logan and Mountain Crest, and this is the rematch of that game.
I'll be listening. What time's your pregame at?
I'm not calling the game because it's at Mountain Crest. It'll be
okay.
Jake Ellis and Coach John Olson.
My man, Jakey Jake.
So, yeah, I'll be listening in on that call.
I missed your dulcet. You do a great job, by the way.
Oh, thank you. On that note, we got to end the show. We got about 5 seconds left. We're going to end it on Ajay praising me. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Have a good night.